Hi, this is the second video about the power ranking of all various types of visas and status in Israel. My name is Joshua Pex, and we're continuing in the various levels of visa in Israel. We talked about those with no visa, those who are waiting for an answer, those who entered as tourists, and now we're with the 2A5, what is called those who applied for refugee status, asylum seekers in Israel, but have not yet received the refugee status. Rather, they're waiting for a reply for their request, and during this time, the State of Israel, the immigration authorities give them what is called 2A5 according to the law of entrance to Israel. This does allow them to reside in Israel, them together with their family and children. Legally, they cannot work actually, but in reality they do work according to a decision of the Supreme Court. So this is a little bit confusing, but actually the visas they get say not allowed to work, but in reality the Supreme Court and also the State of Israel decided not to enforce this upon employers, so actually they work and they receive a salary and they get all the benefits of an Israeli worker. So obviously this is a better status than a tourist, and sometimes people are waiting for their refugee request to be processed for many years. Actually there are whole groups, for example those who entered from South Sudan or from Eritrea, that for years and years as a collective group everyone gets this status and their individual requests are not examined for refugee. So this is 2A5. After that, we're entering all kinds of various visas. So it's a little bit difficult to decide what visa is better than others, but I chose as the student visas, the weakest among different visas, because obviously students are coming for usually short periods of time. They cannot work. They need to come and study in a recognized academic institution. And while they're a student, they do get the visa, and sometimes they're here for a while. And they can continue to a second degree, an MA, sometimes even a PhD. So students do sometimes end up here for many years, but usually it's shorter periods of time. Also here, the spouse and children can also get a visa as accompanying the student. After that, you have a volunteer visa. So volunteers come to Israel to work in all kinds of organizations. Also, they need to be volunteering at a recognized institution, and there's a list of institutions, welfare, or different kinds of NGOs. So volunteers can be here together with their family. Also volunteers cannot work, and when these kind of visas end, they're also expected to leave. So then you have clergy visas, the clergymen, religious workers. Israel, you know, is the homeland of many different religions. So you have organizations and religious institutions from all over the world, and clergy workers come also together with their family. Usually these visas are given up to 5 years, and after that it can be extended, but you have to have special circumstances. You need to get a recommendation from the Ministry of Religious Affairs, but the visa itself is always issued by the Ministry of Interior. Also here, the spouse and children can accompany the clergyman, but the clergyman cannot work in any other organization and only serve in the institution for which he or she came for. So now we're getting into all kinds of work visas. All of the work visas are called a B1 visa, but there are many different types of B1 visas in Israel, and sometimes people hold a B1 visa, but it's not through a work. For example, various procedures grant the beginning of them a B1 visa, but in general, a B1 visa is stronger than other visas because here for the first time you can also reside in Israel but also work legally And again, it depends. There are those who come as workers for elderly caretakers, there are expert workers, there are journalists, there are artists, academics, doctors, medical staff, all kinds of different types of work visas. Usually work visas are given up to 5 years, 1 year each time. The visa needs to be renewed at the Ministry of Interior. Every work visa has a little bit different criteria, but in general this is a good visa to have. But still you can come with a spouse and children, but still you don't have Israeli social security or medical insurance. These you have to take care privately. There's another special B visa, which is called the B5 visa. This is a special working visa for American investors only. You can look up other information about that, but it is worth mentioning. A B5 visa is usually given for a shorter period of time, but it can be renewed for longer than 5 years. It's very, very new in Israel, only since 2019. And there's still not many Americans that took advantage of the B5 visa, but it is ranked, in my ranking at least, in the power ranking, pretty high on the various visa types. So here we talked about the different types of visas to Israel. In the next, the third video and the last one, we're talking about different types of residency in Israel. So thank you for listening.